Hi there, I'm Kim Stephens here at Fox 26.
And I'm Christina Lopez. Welcome to a conversation about breastfeeding, its impacts, tips, and resources for mothers.
Things that we have been through, some very sleepless nights,
Yes.
some very tearful nights and days, and for something that is said to be so natural.
Absolutely.
Sometimes does not feel that way.
Yep.
And so we thought we would talk with someone who is here in our community helping mothers move through this beautiful but also sometimes very stressful part of motherhood.
Absolutely.
So we have asked Kelley Holt to join us from the Mothers Resource Center at Community Regional Medical Center in downtown Fresno to help us. Kelley, hi, thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thanks. you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, Christina, you're still nursing your daughter Lourdes.
Lourdes is 11 months and
Awesome.
she is still nursing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you use Mothers Resource Center.
I have.
Yeah.
I have. And in fact, my OB let me know about it. And so that's how I learned about it. And it was a very welcoming experience. There was no negative stigma. I didn't feel any judgment. I came with all of my questions. There was no silly questions. And it really was like an open conversation.
So Kelley, tell us, what do you do and what's the Resource Center all about?
Well, you just said it perfectly. We are a great source for help and support. A lot of it obviously is hands-on help. A lot of it is just emotional support. We're an easy phone call away for moms when they're at home kind of struggling. They get a referral from maybe a friend or their doctor or a counselor or anyone, and say, give Mothers Resource Center a call. One thing that's wonderful is you don't have to have had to deliver at a community medical hospital, as in CRMC or Clovis Community. You can have delivered anywhere and use us as a resource. So we like to say we're kind of like a great comprehensive level of care here in the Valley for that breastfeeding help and support. We do obviously phone call conversations, just kind of talking moms down, that support, this sounds normal, or why don't you make an appointment? They can come in, make a hands-on, a one-on-one appointment with a lactation consultant where we do test weights and feeding and working on latching and making sure baby is getting enough, for suggestions and trying to help moms increase their supply, make sure baby is being fed well, because that is always the goal, is to feed the baby. Provide support and other referrals in the community where they can go to as well.
Now, how you have so many resources, and right after a baby is born, of course, our first instinct as mother is to have the latch on, make sure there is that connection, and also make sure that we are feeding the baby, even though it takes a little while for the milk to fully come in. But how soon are you open for someone who has just given birth, and what if they can't quite leave their hospital bed yet, but they need help?
Definitely, yes. It starts as soon after delivery. Our goal is to get baby to latch as soon as possible. You might hear somebody say that golden hour after delivery is trying to get baby to breast. That's when baby's really alert and awake and trying to get baby to breast. Sometimes they latch right away, sometimes they don't. And so that's where support comes in. Our hospitals at CRMC, Clovis Community, does have lactation staff available to help with latch. We do breastfeeding education in the hospital. We help with latching, just really kind of be there for moms to help meet their breastfeeding goals, whether that be exclusively breastfeeding, exclusively pumping, or doing breast and bottle. So whatever the mom's goals are, we are there to help them meet those goals. But a lot of it is just education so much in the hospital setting. A lot of moms come in and they really don't understand how to breastfeed, how it all works. So we do a lot of talking and support. And then, yes, of course, the hands-on help. And then from there, once they leave the hospital at Community Regional, and at Clovis Community, we have a way to just right then and there, before the mom even leaves, if she would like to make an appointment with us in our Mother's Resource Center, we do that right there at the hospital bed. And so they know they can go home with an appointment available in a few days. Sometimes that can just be really comforting. If they get home and everything's going great, they can always call and cancel the appointment. But it's when you get home with a newborn, a lot, as you know, a lot goes on, and you kind of you're sleep deprived. You half the time don't even know what day it is, or if you even brushed your teeth. It's just you're working. It's kind of the survival mode of figuring it all out. Even if you've had kids before, even if it's not your first baby, it's every baby situation is different. So knowing sometimes when you leaving the hospital and you have that appointment, it's just comforting. Or obviously they have our phone number. They know that they can call us when they go home. Often when I'm talking to moms, especially our first time moms, kind of that before they head out to go home with their newborn baby, I say, what? Put our phone number in your cell phone, like in your list of contacts, Mother's Resource Center. Because often in the middle of the night is when those questions come out. Like, is this normal? Or, oh my gosh, what's going on? Like, I don't know what to do. And so even if it's the middle of the night, give us a call, leave a voicemail. And in the morning when staff gets on, we'll listen to that voicemail and a lactation consultant can call you back and address those questions. And sometimes it's just, that's normal. That's what's normal baby behavior. Or this is what you're doing. It's just that reassurance, that kind of pat on the back through the phone. And, or, you know what, you might need to make an appointment. Let's see what we have available for you.
I love that. And I think especially as a first time mom, you don't have that confidence yet. You haven't built that confidence that can I do this? And of course, a veteran mother who's raised her children have said, you got this. This is okay. It's natural. You were born to do this. But if you've never done it, you're not sure if you can do it. And you're right. You do need that kind of pat on the back because sometimes it can feel very isolating.
It can.
Especially to mothers who maybe friends are not in that stage of life yet. And so no one really can relate to you. And I think what's so important as well is having that support system. I'm so fortunate. I had, my own mother and my husband and, other moms who really checked on me, helped me, got me ready whenever I was nursing, got my bottle of water next to me. And so it didn't feel like I was so alone.
That is good. But, like you said, natural. Sometimes it just isn't. I remember my first, he would not latch on, period. It was very traumatic for me and for my husband for a while. But we finally did pumping and the bottle, and Cooper is just fine now. But what do you do? How long do you recommend that you try, you go, girl, until you realize, you know what? It's just not happening. And it's time to just pump and give your milk to your child through a bottle.
Right. Yeah. Great question. And really, we say this a lot. The goal is always feed the baby, right? Feed the baby and protect the milk supply. So if baby does need to be fed and you're concerned that baby's not latching or feeding well, there is nothing wrong with giving a bottle. There's nothing wrong with providing formula. Formula is food. There is a time and a place for that. And we do need to feed the baby. And then at that scenario, often we get a phone call, mom is like, I don't know what's wrong. My baby's crying, or my baby's not having enough wet and poopy diapers. Maybe baby is not gay. You go to the doctor's appointment, that first checkup, baby's lost weight, all very normal. But we want to make sure let's focus on how can we increase the supply? How can we make sure baby is getting enough to eat? So in that time, mom calls, wave the flag, I need help. Okay, so over the phone, we're like, okay, you need to feed your baby first, number one. And then let's make an appointment where we can evaluate how much you are actually producing. So one thing wonderful about our clinic in the Mother's Resource Center is we do test weights. So we have very exact scales that Christina probably could remember, that we do a test weight where we weigh the baby, and then we have mom breastfeed. And in that moment of breastfeeding, maybe we're helping with latching, getting a better deep latch, kind of assess what's going on. It could be mom is not latching deep enough. It could be maybe anatomy wise, mom needs some adjustments to her own body. It could be something going on with baby's mouth that we need to adjust something with that. So we kind of look at all that. We have mom feed, and then we weigh baby again. And that is the only true way to see how much milk baby is getting, is by doing that test weight. So from there, we can say, oh my gosh, baby took, 1.5 ounces, or nope, baby only took, 30, like just, I don't know, whatever the volume is, and kind of go from there and say, okay, so at this stage where you are, how many days old, this is the average amount that mom should be making. So then from there, we're like, okay, in the meantime, where we're working to build your milk supply, yes, you're going to feed baby. So you're going to do bottles, either pumped breast milk, or again, formula if needed. And then mom needs to continue working on latching baby based on our recommendations on how to do some corrections. And then we usually recommend pumping so that we can also then increase the supply.
You talked about bringing in the milk though and increasing the supply. What can we do?
Well, so
or drink more of, or what?
I heard water really helps. Again, maybe there's some other tips and tools out there.
Yes. So the first step is really the first 2 to 3 weeks is about building that milk supply. So it's the more stimulation we get at the breast, it's by a good deep latch, frequent feeding. So that's step one in terms of making milk. So the more we remove it, the more the body knows to make it. Now, obviously, there's other factors that can come into play if mom and baby are separated, if she has any underlying health conditions that make it really hard to put baby to breast. Obviously, like I said, baby separate, mom, baby separated, so baby's in NICU, maybe baby's not latching well, all lots of factors. So in those scenarios, we do want to do the best we can to help support that by, if baby's not latching well or not with mom, we want her pumping or doing hand expression. Hand expression in the beginning really helps build that milk supply. Women who do hand expression along with breastfeeding or hand expression along with pumping can make more milk by 2 weeks of life. So that's,
wow.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like a cow. I mean, you're doing some things you never thought you would do before.
Yeah. You're stimulating. You're working double time. Let's just call it what it is. It's work. It's a different kind of work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one thing I would say too, even I didn't realize this at the center, they were even talking to me about my posture, how I would sit and how I was leaning into the baby. And they said, no, you need to really poise yourself and be aligned and make sure that you're aware of how you're sitting. You're not slumped over the baby. And
that pillow really does help, doesn't it?
My breast friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 of them.
Oh, mine is named something else. My kids are really older.
Yeah.
But that seems to help with posture, right? And position.
Correct. Yeah. So anything we can do to help support baby at breast. So bring baby closer. We do want to protect mom's body as well. Part of breastfeeding also is to be calm, comfortable, breathing. We don't want her to be so tense that the fact that her shoulders and back start really hurting, because she's just as tired and sore from delivery as well. So anything we can do to help bring baby closer to the breast, support mom's anatomy as well, relax those shoulders, get her to breathe, and get baby closer, versus just like you were saying, how we don't want her to go down. Sometimes baby's sitting in the lap and mom is so far forward that it starts to become super uncomfortable to her. So any pillows, things, even just pillows from the couch or your bed to kind of bring baby propped up. We do that in the hospital. We just make a nest of pillows around mom and get baby nice and close so that she's calm and relaxed. And that does really help.
Yeah, and I noticed at the Resource Center, you have a couple of different positions that you recommend and that you try, because every position works at maybe a different time of day.
Sure.
I have to disclose this. We're not showing the picture of it though. But as we were going through the pictures that we've been sharing throughout this interview of Christina and my experiences, there was one picture we're not showing of Christina at 12:30 in the morning.
12:30 in the morning.
Your husband took this picture.
Yes, he took it. It was a real life moment. Lourdes was probably, 7 days old.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 days. And I am totally asleep.
Nursing, sitting up.
It is just so picture perfect. It's a classic picture.
It's the real life though, that, nursing mothers for sure. big question here.
Yes, advice going back to work. And I know there's a lot of working moms out there too. Obviously, we can attest to that. And does that really impact your milk supply going back to work? And is there a time that is best for moms? What advice can you give on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's super hard to go when you're breastfeeding. You're really worried about when the time comes to go back to work, whether you're working full time or part time. We get a lot of phone calls and questions regarding like, how do you do this? And we actually have a going back to work class where you can meet one-on-one with one of our lactation consultants and give tips and things like that and kind of what to expect. If you're going back to work, especially full time or even part time, you do want to make sure you have a good quality double electric breast pump. There's a lot of pumps out there, so not any one is necessarily better than others. It's kind of what your goal is and what you need. There's some that we really prefer over others, but again, there's a lot of great pumps out there that moms love that maybe I've never even seen before. So it's just making sure she knows how to use the pump, practices pumping before she goes to work so that she can establish a supply in her freezer. Even pumping just once a day for a couple of weeks can start to have a good stockpile in your freezer. And then when they're at work, they need to be pumping on lunch breaks, so that they can continue to express breast milk. It's very normal for a woman's milk supply to kind of make a little drop when she goes back to work. Often it's more stress related, and just you now have a more relationship with your pump than you do your baby in terms of letting the milk out. Not necessarily you're decreasing your relationship with your baby, but it's different. Pumping, I always say you kind of have to establish a relationship with your pump and know how to make it work for your body. Everyone's a little different with that. So it's just learning, kind of getting used to your breast pump, pumping at work. Have a conversation with your employer before you go back to work and let them know that you are so excited to go to work. You're a breastfeeding or pumping mom, and you're so excited to go back to work and continue to provide pumped breast milk for your baby. Because if your baby is at home and healthy on breast milk, that helps me come to work and be a good employee and work hard and not call in sick or be gone or worried or things like that. So letting your employer know ahead of time when you go back that this is what I'm going to be doing. You're protected by law to pump at breast milk or pump at work to have adequate time and space. That's not a bathroom. So if anyone ever has questions or concerns about going back to work and what your rights are and protected by law, obviously you can look it up or call us at the Mother's Resource Center and we can help you with that.
You know, when you anchor a 5-hour live newscast and you pump right before the news, you still need to pump during.
Yeah.
And so I remember just how strange it was. All right, from 6:30 to 7, Kim was off the set, and I was in some faraway rando room watching the newscast and pumping. And same with you.
Yep.
You're off the set for a little while to do the exact same thing on
every
Great Day.
Every morning. And it's
and thank goodness there's wearable pumps now that are really good. So yeah, if I was obviously my kids are a lot older, but if I was, breastfeeding right now and going back to work, I'd get some of those wearable pumps and you could be sitting anywhere and pumping and nobody really knows.
We could not do that in the newsroom.
I actually looked at that option, full disclosure, and I just was a little obscene for clothing purposes, but I do have mom friends who do use that and swear by it. I've really grown attached to my pump in a specific way because if a part goes missing, I can then buy it at Target, specifically brand. So I won't endorse the brand on here, but it's a widely known pump that almost every
it's a good point.
Every mother does have or can get access to through her insurance. But a mom friend of mine said, go this route only because the parts are all available at Target. So, you need something, you can just drive up and pick it up. You don't have to order on Amazon and wait for it. So that gave me peace of mind. But it's a lot.
What about when we decide that it's time to end? I remember that being exceptionally painful for me, for this one, the one who did latch on, the one who, him, Kelley. Anyway, how do you wean your child?
That's a great question. The weaning process, as we like to say, it should be a decision between mom and baby. Obviously, you can't necessarily ask your 9-month-old or your 1-year-old, hey, you ready to quit? But it's a process of, like, let's say mom's goal is to breastfeed a year. That's great. If she wants to continue, wonderful. That's another many health benefits. The longer you do it, increases those health benefits. But if mom's ready to kind of quit, and you slowly start the process, and same with baby. If baby kind of gets busy running around and not real interested in nursing, you want the weaning process to be a slow. So over a few weeks, months, you start cutting down the feedings and have it be a slow process. So it slowly decreases the milk supply. And then also baby then starts to kind of get less interested. An older baby, let's say you have a 2-year-old and your mom might be ready to wean, and baby's still very interested in nursing. Again, if it's a decision that mom is ready to do, you slowly kind of distract them, get them busy in other things, and maybe the normal spot where you nurse, you kind of just don't sit there anymore. Or if you have a baby that's super active and just wants to keep nursing, again, that's a mom and baby decision. There's nothing wrong with continuing to nurse a toddler if that's what mom and baby want to do.
Okay, love it. Goes with stigma.
Absolutely.
Nursing, no matter the age.
No matter the age, and I feel like maybe you can attest to this too. We nurse at different points in our life and career. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there was a stigma related, when you were breastfeeding versus now. Maybe it's more acceptable, or maybe it's kind of looked down upon, and some people will say, man, privacy, don't do that in front of me. Or should there be a stigma to do it and to not do it?
No, I mean, it's how you feed your baby. In other parts of the world, some women will breastfeed their baby till they're a lot older, 7-10-year-olds sometimes. We don't see that here in the United States very often. But it's obviously, we know the health benefits of breastfeeding. The longer you do it, increases those health benefits to mom and baby. I'm a big believer that some breast milk is better than no breast milk. So if your goal is to breastfeed 6 months, great. If your goal is to breastfeed 3 months, wonderful. If you make it to a year, fantastic. If you go beyond that, fantastic. There's nothing wrong with it. We try to normalize breastfeeding. This is a normal way to feed baby, and it should not be looked down upon. There's a lot of feelings out there. Sometimes you see, like, moms should cover up to breastfeed in public, and you should never have to feel like you should cover up in public if that's what mom is comfortable doing. If she wants to just be able to feed her baby on the playground, that's great. Or in the grocery store, baby again needs to be fed. If that's what mom's comfortable doing, wonderful. When I'm in a grocery store or Target or somewhere and I see a mom nursing a baby, and you could tell that that's what's taking place, I love just to give her a smile and keep on walking. It's that support and giving her that little, you go mom, like, you do it, without being like, oh my gosh, wonderful, just a little smile and move on, and let them know that good job, mama. But if some moms don't want to feed in public, that's okay too. Like, everybody just needs to do what's best for you. And that goes along with some moms just don't want to feed at breast at all. And that's okay. We have a lot more exclusively pumping moms today than I've seen in my years of practice. And breast milk is breast milk. If we can pump it and feed it to baby, it's wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we all need that little nudge. You're doing great.
Yeah, for sure.
Motherhood you're in.
Now, I was 100% raised on formula. I never got, because I was born cesarean, and it was a long time ago, and I turned out fine.
I think you did all right.
And, and so anyway, yeah, we want to make sure that the stigma and all of these "you musts" go away, and mom figures out what is best for you and baby. But again, I want to know, you offer help not just with nursing, but also with what's going on in maybe postpartum with our bodies or our minds or our spirits. Can you help us let our viewers know about that before we say goodbye?
Yes, definitely. It's I think we've kind of hit on that too. It's just a lot of it is the support and figuring out what is the mom's goal. And we talk about that in after delivery, and then obviously in our outpatient clinic. What is your goal? What can I do to help you? Like, is your goal to exclusively breastfeed? Is your goal to breast and bottle feed, it being breast milk and formula? Or is your goal to pump only? So just kind of finding out what her goals are so that we can support that. And like I said in the beginning, the goal is always to feed the baby. So there is nothing wrong with providing formula. Formula is food. Obviously, I would love every baby to be 100% breastfed, because we just know the long-term health benefits of providing breast milk. But just like you said, there's a lot of very healthy, amazing people in this world that were formula fed only. And, so there's always a time and place. And it's just, really goes then back to educating the mom, and letting her know the benefits, the how-tos, and then just being that support, that cheerleader. You got this, mom, you could do that, and being there for her.
Kelley, thank you so much for your help and your advice and your just sense of with all of this today. We really appreciate it.
Well, I really appreciate. I love all the pictures too that you guys have sent.
So do we. Walk down memory lane.
Yes, a nice walk down memory lane.
Well, offering this resource to moms that don't know about it, and really there's no mom shaming involved. I mean, however you choose to nurture and nourish your baby is your choice, obviously, but to give moms these tools, these resources, and to let them know, you know what, you're not alone.
Right. And that no matter where you gave birth, you at CRMC are helping moms and baby connect this way.
Yeah. We see patients from all the different hospitals throughout the area. We even sometimes have patients that we've seen, and they might have a family member that lives out of state, and they're like, you know what? Call the Mother's Resource Center. They can help you. And so we've gotten phone calls from people that don't even live here, that just like, my sister got help there, and she told me to give you a call. And so I don't know who to call. And so, okay, let's Google where you live and find out, some resources near you, or just kind of that, you got this, you're doing the right thing. So we love the phone calls.
Yeah. Well, Kelley Holt from Mother's Resource Center at CRMC in downtown Fresno, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys as well.